Ladies and gentlebirds, welcome to the Outside Insider Show. Here, live on YouTube, we're back. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day, all right? The Eagles are still a little bit away, but it's not. You can't really look back at Sunday's win now. We're over that. We're happy with it. They're 5-0. So we're in that medium ground, which means it is prime time to complain. And if you've seen the title of the video, you know exactly where we're going with this. We mentioned it briefly in Monday's stream. We're going to dive a lot deeper into Quez Watkins and what the Eagles shouldn't do, what may be a good idea with him right now, because he does seem like he's just getting lost in the shuffle more and more as time goes on. So there'll be a lot of fun tonight, I'm sure, discussing that. Some more flower giving for Jalen Carter, just because he is on an absolute tear. And without going into too much detail, just to look at his odds for the Defensive Rookie of the Year, started the year at plus 800. He is now minus 175 to win. Like, bear in mind, an entire rookie class to be like roughly 8-1 and then about like 1-2 in the space of 5 games is ridiculous. So we're going to touch on Jalen Carter's dominance, his career trajectory, like the fact that he might well be a generational talent as far as his Eagles defense goes. But welcome to the show, everyone. I hope you've all had a nice hump day so far. If you could leave a like on this stream, it'll be absolutely appreciated. It's the best way to help us grow. It costs nothing. All you've got to do is tap a little grey thumb, make it blue. I've got weird thumbs, I've been told. So just turn that one blue, otherwise you'll end up like that. I reckon that's the theory tonight. Who have we got in the chat? Ron is in. Matt McPherson says, bold move going live right after nasty cast. Oh, are the Phillies on already? I thought they were on at 7, so that's my bad. So that's gone well. But I appreciate the wrestling sentiments. Isaac says he wants to make him get into wrestling. You should. It's nerdy as hell, but it's a lot of fun. Sort of like, the PSN YouTube channel, right? That's what we do. They're about to have a UK division. What, for wrestling stuff or Eagles? Potentially both. I'm a generational talent. I would take that. I would take that all day. You're too kind. One man who isn't a generational talent, though, is Quez Watkins. And we do need to discuss this because, again, like, I've been on this boat now, driving it for about, I know that you drive boats, but you know what I mean. Travis comes in, right, new user. Quick round of applause. We've got a new user to the core 10. Travis Rickeen, hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. His speed isn't recognised because everyone knows he can't catch and how he keeps giving him opportunities. Yeah, look, it's okay. Let's talk Quez because it's a weird place he finds himself in right now. And the best way to do it is I've got a graphic made. Don't worry, we have got a lovely, wholesome graphic. It's not as wholesome because it's slagging him off. But here we go. So here's Quez Watkins looking like the way I feel about him. A bit moody, cold, dead behind the eyes. Sounds about right. The thing is, it's now his 4th year in the league, okay? He came out of college, 6th round pick, not expected to turn into anything. And for those PSN OGs that have been around a while, will remember, I was in love with one John Hightower, okay? That was my guy. 5th round pick, Boise State. Just as much speed, better receiver, in my opinion. I'll stand on that hill to this day. But Quez was the guy they went with. Quez was the man who won the roster spot after like 2 years of dueling. The team he came onto, that 2020 Eagles team, went 4-11-1, as I'm sure you will all desperately try to forget every night before you go to sleep. It was a terrible time for all of us. But on that team, you could argue he may have had the highest ceiling of any receiver on there. I mean, sure, you had a little bit of progress on Travis Fulgham for about 3 weeks and Jalen Reagor kind of existed. But for the most part, Quez was like the flash in the pan, a couple of big plays, and everyone was excited. 2021, Dougie P's gone, Carson's gone, Jalen Hurts is now your quarterback, Devontae Smith enters the fray, and you've now got a refreshed-looking wide receiver group, okay? Quez then finds himself and has 647 yards. He outplays Jalen Reagor. He becomes like the go-to second guy in that offense, and the 2021 Eagles take a big step forward. 2022, A.J. Brown steps into the fray. Big, physical, dominant, proven commodity at Tennessee, proven at the college level. On the other side, Devontae Smith just broke the team's all-time rookie record for receiving yards. The year before that, won a Heisman Trophy. You are then lost in amongst greatness, essentially. So the 2022 Eagles go on, and as we know, they go to a Super Bowl, and it was all loving sunny in Philadelphia. But Quez's numbers drop a little bit as expected. But not many people, I think, I didn't realise this until I looked at the numbers today. He only had 10 less receptions between 2021 and 2022, and somehow had nearly 300 fewer yards. Like, that takes some doing. That really takes it. To drop 300 yards in 11 receptions is wild. Like, at max, I would say 100 yards probably is what you're expecting there. But fair enough. 2023, they tried to upgrade the position. Olamide Zaccheaus gets signed from the Atlanta Falcons. I was a big OZ guy. I thought he had a great season in Atlanta last year. It showed everything that the team needed out of Quez Watkins, but more consistent and better. And in 2022, the other thing we failed to mention was that the drops picked up. There were 3. All of them seemed to come at a more costly time than the last. And there was just this growing consensus that Quez was maybe falling out of favour. He battles through. He sticks on the team in 2023. Then he gets injured. And then when he comes back, I mean, he had, 3 receptions yesterday for about 4 yards. One of them was a 3rd and 2 screen where he ran into his own blocker. Like, all that has happened, and this is my stance and where I've been on it since day one of this past offseason, is Quez Watkins came into a team that was bad. It was a bad football team. It was Carson Wentz killing it, not like literally, but as in physically ruining the team. Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, like there weren't guys to, hang your hat on. And Quez was the only one with like cost basis upside, given what they're paid for him. The next year, the team takes a step forward. It's a rookie quarterback. You're not expecting greatness, okay? It's a step forward. It's progress. 2022, Jalen takes a huge step. Devontae takes a huge step. AJ Brown is already an elite talent. And all of a sudden, you've got elite players across the board. The offensive line's elite. The running game was elite. The tight end group was very good. And both receivers were elite. And you've got Quez, who is barely serviceable as a starter and is a 6th-round guy, was never expected to blossom into a regular hang-your-hat-on starter. He had the speed to stretch a defense, and don't get me wrong, that's Nick Sirianni's entire reasoning for having him on the field, is that he can take the top off. And it's like, but sooner or later, teams are going to realise it doesn't matter how quick he is if he's got feet for hands. It doesn't matter how much speed you've got down that seam if you're going to fail to locate a ball in the air, because they'll stop accounting for him. They don't need to. He's not a threat anymore. And I don't like the idea of giving up on players, but especially ones that have, they've earned their keep. And Quez has done that, I'd like to say, over the past few years. But this team has gotten good. The bar has gone up from 2020. They've gotten better every single year. Awful 2020. Fairly average with a lot of flashes 2021. Extremely good 2022. And now they're 5-0 for the 2nd season in a row for the first time in Eagles history. That is a great football team. A foundationally great football team. Quez Watkins is not foundationally great. It is the same if you support a soccer team in the English pyramid and, you're a championship side, you get promoted to the Premier League. The championship guys, like look at Luton Town, the League One guys, they aren't cutting it. They've got you to your final destination. They were good enough to get you across the bridge, but they're not going with you on that journey. They're not taking you to Mount Doom with that one ring, okay? It's that simple. Quez just isn't that guy. The Eagles need stability. And again, like I said, I feel like we've mentioned this every week so far, but if you look back a few weeks ago, I said on stream a similar thing where speed is no longer a rarity in the NFL. You can find rapid receivers in the 7th round who are undrafted, who are bouncing around practice squads. It's not like this huge game-changing thing to be quick. It was 10 years ago when Deshaun Jackson was doing it. Like a guy like Tyreek Hill, different class to everyone else, understandably. But I would say now, I wonder if you to take the average of every 40-yard dash of every NFL wideout, you'd be left with a 4.4 to a 4.45 on average. It's very rare you would see a 4.6, 4.7 receiver take the field. So you don't need that anymore. It's not enough. Being quick is not enough to earn him a starting spot in this offense, especially when you've got Olamide Zaccheaus, who has comparable speed, is just as effective, and his first taste of Eagles action doesn't help build a touchdown. His second taste, he has had more receiving yards. He's had 69 receiving yards in his last 3 games as an Eagle, Olamide Zaccheaus. Quez Watkins has had 68 in his last 10. And I think that ultimately says everything that we need to know about Quez. We've had some comments, about 8 of them. I've been neglecting them by accident, so we'll get to your names here, your comments here. Quez plays scared, says Matty Mac. I don't know, it could be that. I'm not really sure what the issue is. But if you remember the Nelson Aguilar situation, it could well be comparable. It could be the fact that there is a lot of mental. If you bear in mind the pressure he put on himself at the start of this offseason, when he goes out and sends a tweet saying, he's going to shut everyone up and silence the haters and stuff like that, it heaps pressure on. And then you have one game where it doesn't work. And then you have a second game and a third and so forth. And before you know it, you're behind the 8 ball. The injuries haven't helped. But Quez just ultimately isn't what the Eagles need. He's the sort of guy, I'm trying to think who you're on to with now, but there was a guy that used to play, funny enough, for Atlanta. I can't remember his name. But he was like, everyone in on the Eagles every year. Anyway, some Eagles trivia. So I guess the receiver Liam's thinking of. I feel like he played for the Browns. He might have played for the Falcons. Just like a rapid receiver that was bang average, had 3 good years, and then fell off a cliff. It's that. That's the upside we're at, I think, with Quez. Phillies tie up at 1. Oh, ring the bell. I haven't got a bell on me, I don't think. I mean, I can get a spoon and a mug and I can start tapping it, but I don't think it's the same. Travis says it'd be good to think about getting a different receiver soon on a cheap deal. AJ and Devontae is going to be expensive. 16 ain't that. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, Devontae's going to want his bag. AJ isn't really going to want to surrender his. And that's the only concern I've had with that tandem is, are you able to sustain that long term? Realistically, it's only year 3 for Devontae Smith now. So you've got at least 2 more years. If you want to be smart with the option year, he was a first-round pick. You do have that option available. So that's great. But realistically, you're going to have to pay up at some point. But in the intermediate time of that, you're going to have to find a solution. I've seen some noise around Mecole Hardman being a potential pick. I wouldn't be a fan of it. I think it's just not something the Eagles should even entertain at that point. Unless you can shift Quez and maybe, I don't know. I saw some comments for Jack Driscoll, but I think Jack Driscoll's a starting tackle in most NFL teams. So I wouldn't give up that. But I know they've obviously lost Elijah Vera-Tucker. So they are going to need some tackle depth or some versatility along that line. Top of the morning to K1. How are you this morning or this evening, sir? As an Eagles organisation, we cannot become the one-night stand Rams, winners of loads of talent and lost them all the next year. True. But what I will say to that is Howie has done a brilliant job of building the long term of this team. If you were to look at it now, players under 24, players with 3 or more years on their contract. Jalen, number 1, because obviously he's just signed a meaty one. He's sort of exempt from that rule, but you know what I mean. Devontae's got 3 more years or 2.5. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, 4 and 5 years or 3 and 4, depending which way you want to slice the dice on that one. Nakobe Dean is another one. Reed Blankenship has got a couple more deals there. Offensive line, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen. Both of those guys are going to be there for at least 3 years. Dickerson's going to be there for 4. You've got a lot of pieces there, in and around the trenches, that are going to be there for the long term. Reddit's going to be there, I'm assuming. I think Reddit's going to be the fall guy at some point, be it 2 years, 3 years down the line, where his contract becomes too expensive and either they cut it or they rework it like they're used to seeing. But yeah, there are a lot of young guys in and around that Eagles team that have 4 to 5 years on their contract right now. And it's crazy. Isn't there a wide receiver on the Seahawks who runs a 4.99? I don't know, but I'd be stunned if there was. That's amazing. But bro, we've got Phillies live commentary. Have we actually? Wow. 4-1. Go Phils. I should have done a Phillies stream. I have no idea what I'm on about. I can show you a video though. I'll show you a really funny video. I was going to put this up the other day. I can't remember why I ended up finding it now, but give me 30 seconds. Basically, back in the day, I was, as we all know, a bit of a gambling man. And I put on a £5, maybe a £5, $5 bet, something like that. And I needed, it was at the time it was on the Nationals. I needed the Washington Nationals to win, right? And I'm not sure if it works on your betting sites, but on mine, if I bet on the baseball, I can actually watch the game on my screen. And I had a clip of Bryce Harper, bottom of the ninth, hitting a home run to win me like a fair bit of money. So I found the clip. Here we go. This is we can't stream the Phillies. This is the best I can do. This is prime LJ era. You can't really see it very well, but
big fucking Bryce! Big Bryce and his big fuck off bat! He's done it again! Bryce Harper! Fuck!
There you go. That was where my love affair with Big Bryce and his big fuck off bat started. A couple of years later, he joined the Phillies. I'm a happy man. And would you believe he's just sent them up 4-1 against the Braves? Again, I'm not too overly well versed in Phillies in and outs. I just know that it was. I went to bed. They were like 4-0 up. I thought it was a done game. I wake up the next morning and everything is in tatters, and I was like, it wasn't good. So we'll definitely get back on Eagles. But yeah, Bryce, I think realistically, all right, let's pivot to Eagles for a sec. Oh, before we do, it's Tarek. We've got a new member in the chat. We have to say hello, everyone. Big wave to Tariq over there, or Tarek again. Apologies if I've butchered the name. Barnett still wants to be traded. I don't think he's got any value at this point because he's been floated on the market for so damn long that it's irrelevant. And the Broncos aren't good. Like, who are they going to give up? It's at most it would be Marvin Mims if you threw in Quez and a lineman. Like, you'd need a lot to sway any of them because they know. The thing is, you know the Broncos are selling, and you know they're in that fire sale, everything's on fire kind of mindset. So you have to have an offer because every team's going to be looking. So if you realistically, if you're throwing every player out there to every team, the value's automatically going to drop because it's not a commodity. It's not something everyone's going to want to own because they know it's expendable, you know? So it's sort of like, you know, going to a store when it's closing and seeing if you can nab like free food that will go out of date that day. That's what you're getting for there. Like, I don't think the Eagles are in that desperate need. Like, Quez is fine. He's serviceable. But realistically, I wouldn't see him on the field. It's 6-1 in the Phillies. Should we just end the stream and watch the Phillies? Because... wow, what a game. Fair enough. It is mad, isn't it, that the Braves can be so dominant 2 years in a row and then get absolutely slapped silly by the Phillies in the playoffs. Love to see it. So am I right in saying if the Phillies win this, it's World Series, yeah? Again, my playoff knowledge is not brilliant, but don't get me wrong, I'll be straight on that bandwagon when they make the World Series again. Now, to be fair, I do write like articles for them every day and edit them, so I haven't watched many games throughout the year sort of thing. Like it's always on in the background or something. So it's sort of just background noise while I'm working. But yeah, edge rushers do have value. I wouldn't really... Is Derek Barnett an edge rusher? He doesn't do much. Does he rush off the edge? Sure. What else should an edge rusher do? Literally everything he doesn't, apart from get penalties. So, yeah. It's the NFC Championship to baseball. Okay, yeah, it's the NLCS, isn't it? Okay. Because NLDS is this, NLCS is next, and then it's WS. Everyone has 7 screens. I know, I don't. I'm a one-screen pony. I'm one screen on an iPad, so I'm out of the, out of the game. I need to up my game. I'm letting the side down. I did have 2 screens at once when I was streaming, and that was chaotic enough. Felt like I was in some sort of trading den. But I'm glad. I'm amazed we've got 10 people in with the Phillies on and winning the way they are, to be honest. But I'll tell you what I will do. I'll spoil a surprise for you on Friday. We've got something planned. I don't want to fully guarantee it's happening, but if I tell you what's planned in case it doesn't, then it's like, at least you've experienced the joy that I did, So with a bit of luck, I'm still working out the fine tuning of whether it's going to be live, pre-recorded, or if it can happen at all. But it's looking like it'll be a pre-recorded interview, and then we stream it in the evening. So I'll come in on Friday, say hello, love you all, and then I'll play this thing in the background. But the pre-recorded footage would be, drum roll, an interview with Eagles cornerback, or former Eagles cornerback, Bobby Taylor. So, I mean, that's pretty good, right? I'd say that's a good get for the outside insider, for someone that lives in England, to get former Eagles corner Bobby Taylor, who was, at the peak of his, he was great. As far as, I didn't grow up with him, but looking back and playing alongside Troy Vincent, being in some of those great late Eagles teams, Yeah, so we've got an opportunity to do it. He's doing some community work, and the idea is as long as we can promote the community work, so you guys will be very nice about the community work, we can get a full-on interview with Bobby Taylor. So, yeah, I'll try and get that sorted and locked in. But as far as I understand, it'll be Friday's show, 6 p.m. Oh, no way. Look at that. So, yeah, he's not going on the scary list. He's scary because he's scary good. Maybe I'll ask Bobby, of all the players he's played with, I get some juicy gossip. Who is the horror show player that you would put on the list? Maybe we need an honorary one. What we should do? Oh my God, what we should do. Right, I don't even know if he will let me do it. But imagine if I was like, we make it a thing for any guest that ever comes on, they have to give their horror show player. And over time, we build this database of the worst team of players that players have, like a players team, you know? So, like, we interview, I don't know, Bobby Taylor, maybe we get Joe Flacco, maybe someone else, and they give me their worst players. You never know. Look, you say I can't pull it off. All I'm saying is, the last time I interviewed an Eagles player, it was Fletcher Cox. I was in my girlfriend's living room or kitchen, and I asked if he liked the 1975, and he had no idea who they were. So that was great. But I asked the hard-hitting questions. All right, that's what I'm here for. So Bobby Taylor content, hopefully, coming on Friday. If it doesn't happen, something's gone tits up. But I'm used to that, so I'd rather say, hey, this is fun. Here's Bobby Taylor coming. So if it doesn't happen, we can be miserable together. And then we can lift ourselves up, knowing the Eagles have never lost to the Jets, ever. And look forward to that demolishing on Sunday. So that'll be cool. K1's buzzing. It's 6-1 to the Phils. Jarrell's buzzing. Love to see it. As Phil says, no training in the AM tomorrow. I saw the 200 pizzas for 10 a.m. That's an aggressive order. Wow. I mean, our thoughts are with you, Phil. I know you'll be stressed out in the morning, but yeah, we'll make sure that we give you a big welcome back when you return. Through the Eagles defense has given up or failed to live up to the hype it built in 2022. Slay's been one of the few defenders on the roster who hasn't missed a beat. 21 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and a pick 6 through 5 games. Yeah, so let's talk Darius Slay then, because he's obviously on the injury report, which isn't ideal. I mean, it sucks, first and foremost, for, like, Sean Desai. The poor fella has walked into Philadelphia, lost his starting middle linebacker, lost his starting safety, lost his nickel corner, and gone, it's fine. We're 5-0, and we've just got help. Bradley Roby is here. The nickel cornerback position is saved. Don't worry, let's get to work. And 2 days later, Darius Slay's on the injury report. And you're like, is the guy ever going to get a break? Bless him. He is coordinating his ass off over there right now. So it would suck. I mean, we said this before. Slay's come under some heat in the past, like, week or two. I'm not really sure why. I think it's more schematic, like Matt says there, conveniently enough. Playing 20 yards off the line when they're hitting us with slants. Yeah, that's it. But that's schematic. I'm not really sure that's down to him. But then, in fairness to Desai, like the updates that he did, like the adjustments at halftime, certainly were an improvement. And again, when you go back and you look at the receivers that Darius Slay's faced this year, and you wonder, oh, he's lost a step, he's getting beaten a lot. Like, fine, week 1, Kendrick Bourne decided to turn into Randy Moss for half an hour. You can't do anything against that, all right? Week 2, Justin Jefferson, or one of the ways around, you know what I mean? Week 3, or one of them, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Week 4, I've missed the game, haven't I? Week 4, who did I have last week? Oh, Terry McLaurin. And then obviously week 5, Cooper Kupp shadowing. Like, that's tough. That's really hard. Like, to be, look, an aging corner is one thing. To be an aging corner on an island against Kupp, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, you're talking, again, I said it last stream, 4 of the top, 15 receivers in the NFL he's faced in the first 5 weeks of the year. We haven't even got to, whatever happens late on, where you've got, the Bills and the Niners and the Chiefs and all that fun stuff. So he's held his own, I would say. His numbers are bound to be up when the Eagles are having to account for these insane receivers and kind of pivot around it. So, yeah. I mean, K-Win's right. It's not like he's one-on-one. Obviously, the defense helps him out, and he's intelligent enough to shade plays inside and to play that kind of cover 3 and have the envelope and the shell over the top. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything to worry about with Darius Slay at all. I think he's been absolutely serviceable. And Darius Slay on his worst day is better than like 50% of the starting corners in this league on their best day. That's how you've got to view this, right? Like, he's that good, he's that intelligent. Like, it's the experience at that point with Darius Slay. Like, he's been around this league so long, he's been so good for so long, where he might, even if he loses a step, if he turns into Ed Sheeran and his legs don't work like they used to before, it doesn't matter, because he is like one step ahead mentally to make up for that. Maybe he does play himself a few yards off coverage. Maybe he does buy himself some extra time, but he's able to help the team and help the coordinators negate that. And I think that is more valuable than maybe an athletic freak that just isn't quite there yet or doesn't have the fundamentals down. Eric definitely said that the Jets will win. I'd be stunned. I think if the Jets win, Philadelphia might catch fire. Like, bear in mind that then again, it just would be the way, wouldn't it? It would be the team that the Jets, who have never beaten the Eagles, don't have Aaron Rodgers, somehow beat the Broncos, but are a mess, and would somehow then end up, beating the Eagles. I wouldn't be shocked, and that's the worst bit, but it absolutely shouldn't happen. And I would very handedly bet that the Eagles wipe the floor, especially if, like, all the Jets offense runs through Breece Hall, who's coming up against that run D, like, with a weakened offensive line. So you're telling me the Jets have no linemen and are coming up against Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, whoever. Yeah, there's no holes for him to run through. I'm not concerned at all. And that's going to get clipped. And Breece, but then again, it sucks because I've got Breece Hall in fantasy. And, you win some, you lose some. It's one of those horrible weeks, isn't it? Where he's your top running back and you're like, you don't want him to do well, but you need him to do well, but he shouldn't do well. Oh, it's the worst. It is absolutely the worst. I'm sure people are seeing as far as him having an off year. Yeah, exactly. I think he's been very solid. I mean, K1's right. I mean, but that's why I think film breakdown stuff would be good. I just don't have the time to commit to it anymore. Like, I'm definitely not as versed as I was in, like, the Jim Schwartz team. I understand the basic fundamentals. But, yeah, like, I don't know. The Jim Schwartz stuff was easy to understand. It didn't work. Like, well, it did work in principle. It just sucks when it didn't, if that makes sense. Like, we'll let them go the whole field and, do what you want, but don't break and whatever. But then you spend the whole game struggling not to break, and not pretty, is it? So, yeah, maybe we can get some, like, baby film rooms or something, like some TikTok stuff or some play analysis and that sort of thing. So I think it would be valuable for a lot of fans, because it is hard when you're watching on TV to see a corner playing like 10 yards off and just assume that, like, oh, it's Slay's fault or something. Happened all the time with Saul in, like, the Jim Schwartz era. So I'd definitely be up for that. If Joe gets to the outside there where he should be good. Yeah, I mean, it'd be Job or Ricks. I'd like to assume it'd be Job. I'd still put Ringo there, to be honest. I would much rather see Keely Ringo get that nod. But realistically, it just probably is going to be Josh Jobe getting that look in on Sunday. So he's earned it, I think. Like, he's been around the team long enough. I think he's well versed enough in this scheme now to be efficient. He's not the moment won't be too big for him. It's only the Jets. And it shouldn't be Garrett Wilson. It's going to be, like, whoever. Also, fun information dump. Braxton Berrios no longer plays for the New York Jets. He's on the Dolphins. So got that one wrong last week. Zach Wilson will be running like Forrest Gump. Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, I'm really not expecting much out of Zach Wilson. Like, I was never a Zach Wilson guy anyway. He reminded me very much of, like, Paxton Lynch coming out of college, which sucks because I did like... There was an era where I wanted the Eagles to not draft Carson Wentz, trade back, keep Sam Bradford, and get Paxton Lynch. Can you imagine the chaos if I was Eagles GM for like 5 years? How good? I'd love it. Like some sort of dystopian future. How good or bad would the Eagles be if I was making all the big decisions behind the scenes? Sam Bradford stays, Paxton Lynch is developmental, and then I get fired within a year. It's probably how that would have gone. But look, I had the John Hightower pick. I'm convinced Howie saw my stuff and was like, yeah, he's onto something. Because I also had Jalen Reagor as my top graded wide receiver for the Eagles in that draft. Of the entire draft, he was like the top graded guy in terms of scheme fit. Not in terms of best receiver, because he by far wasn't, but scheme fit. And then they took him and John Hightower. It's not a coinky dink. Howie knows. Howie knows. He watches the stuff. He might not anymore. That's why the team is suddenly winning. All right. Liam stops uploading. Howie Roseman starts, winning. It's not a coincidence. He's learned his stuff the hard way. You'd be fine as a USFL GM. I'd love it. I think, I don't know. I love managing. I love, I feel like running PSN's like one big game of Football Manager anyway. I just give motivational team talks before each game. I like developing. I do see it as like a Football Manager type thing. I love developing people. And yeah, seeing them get jobs and stuff. We had Nate recently, I think I mentioned, get an internship with the union. We've had 3 or 4 people come through PSN, come out and then get full-time jobs. So it's I see it as I'm running. So I don't know, get me in a sports team. I'll cook it right up. Don't you worry. What a tosser. He was, but at the same time, he was like a baby Carson Wentz. It was everything Wentz was, but a little bit more erratic. And I was like, well, if you're fine with Sam Bradford for a couple of years, build him up, work with him behind the scenes. I assumed he was, serviceable. He says this. Has anyone noticed the jersey I'm wearing? If you can guess it without me showing anything other than that, I don't know, maybe I'll do a giveaway or something. That's all you've got. You've got a little bit of gold here. I need the team and the name, the team and the player name for points, and maybe we'll do a little Eagles giveaway or something. Jalen Rugger doesn't exist. He's a deep state plot. Yeah, he was an alien experiment. He wasn't real. Don't you worry about that. Batman wouldn't have got that info out of me. Yeah, look, I say put it out there, then Batman won't need to. That's what I say. Imagine being a door by Elway and having Peyton Manning to learn from and still sucking that hard. Yeah, look, that is the other thing. I might have had a whiff there slightly, Not great, bless him. He tried, though. He tried. Zach Wilson's not been much better. It's so weird, though, isn't it? There's such a pressure to find... It's funny you mention him, but the next Peyton Manning. Same way, or the next Andrew Luck. Everyone wants to find the next guy instantly. And if they're not good within 3 years, look at what Arizona did with Josh Rosen. No time. It sucks, Josh Rosen's, tenure in the league. What a mess that was. Absolute travesty. I have no idea. If you'd have told me to bet on day one of the 2016 draft which quarterback would be in the league longer, it would not have been Jared Goff. The whole class was a stinker. But then you have Pat Mahomes slide down and ends up being unbelievable. So it's weird. What if the Phillies Union and the Eagles all win their championships this year after... Oh, Matty Mac, what are you cooking? He's cooking. He's cooking. Wait there. He's cooking. I hear he's cooking. Wait there. He's not done yet. Oh, it's the first time we've had a cooking comment. Let's start cooking it up. My girlfriend said she might be watching this stream tonight. And if I'm sat there doing that, she's going to turn it off instantly. Just about passing out, falling asleep. And I've just started cooking. Lovely. She's like, what am I watching? This is what he does. This is what he doesn't talk to me for an hour every night, to sit there doing that. Look, when Matty Mac comes with the heat, you got to cook it up in the kitchen, all right? I cannot leave that sauce there. That is unbelievable. What a comment. Yeah, I wonder, right, which one hurt you most? That sounds like a therapy question, but which one of those losses actually hurt you most? Because I think it was the Union. And I'm not trying to be hot takery, because the Phillies were never expected to win the World Series. It was the euphoria. It was the adulation of them getting to the World Series. This huge underdog story that, they fired their manager, they hired Rob Thompson, they somehow saved the season, shithouse the playoffs, beat the best teams that it could possibly beat, and make the World Series. That euphoria carried them to that point. So when they lost, it was it sucks, but they did a hell of a job to get there. The Eagles came up against the Chiefs. Oh, no way. No way. There you go. Love to see it. So she just woke up with me cooking it up. Look, the game's the game. You've got to do what you've got to do. But yeah, then the Eagles, Super Bowl, were they expected to beat the Chiefs? Probably not. They just weren't. I mean, it would have been amazing, and they had a team that was good enough to win. It hurt more because of the way they lost. I think the fact that it was so good to be flying, at halftime. And I mean, my girlfriend there went to bed. She watched the Super Bowl with me. She went to bed at halftime, assumed it was game over, they've won. Wakes up, no, they've lost. They blew it. So that sucked. But again, it was a game they weren't meant to win. The Union, to break records for the latest goal ever, and then someone concede after it. it was so disgusting. Like, I had friends over. Like, I was going out that evening, and obviously the MLS is on a bit of an earlier time. We had the game on. I screamed when that first goal went in, and then like 2 seconds later, I turned around to get a drink. They conceded, and then to lose on penalties in that way, like, it was the most gutless shootout. I'm an England fan, obviously, right? Watching England take penalties is stressful enough because they never win penalties. But the Union shootout was absolutely disgusting. I'd never seen a collapse like it. So maybe Matty Mack is onto something, and all three teams rebound. And it is possible. It is possible. The Eagles are a Super Bowl level team. The Phillies, I think, are better than they were last year. And the Union, if they can work out how to stop tying games, might be as well. On that note, I'm actually really impressed that so many of you guys follow the Union. I know they announced that they'd like sold out all their tickets. They've had sellouts at every home game, haven't they, or something? Which is like incredible. For a team that was only founded in 2010 to have sold out every home game this year is such an achievement. But on that note, we will be bringing you guys a Union stream, hopefully once a week. We don't know when yet. It's in the works. Like, I've got the Union team together last night. We had a conversation. We're going to try and get like an hourly, sort of like this, and like Phil's trending in the AM and flipping the birds, get a Union show in once a week as well. So if you guys do follow, I think there is one for the Union at the minute, and there's definitely a gap in the market considering how much like attention MLS is getting right now. So we're going to do that. I know, again, the OGs will remember the watch-alongs back in the day. So I'm hoping we can maybe even rekindle some of that fire. Because the MLS is back tournament, when we had the watch-alongs and the Glesnes goal and the like, oh, it was great. Sat there in a Charlton Athletic Christmas hoodie. Brilliant. Absolutely loved it. I did see somewhere, someone guessed my jersey, and I think I've missed it. I might have missed the comment. I'm trying to scroll for it now. Have I lost it, or did it get deleted? We'll go to this one. Josh Rosen's career is like a Benny Hill sketch. I know, it sucks. I had really high hopes for him as well. Like, I never wanted him, you know, on the Eagles or anything like that, and it didn't really matter at the time he came out. But I did want him to. There was no reason to not want him to succeed, if that makes sense. So yeah, it does suck that he didn't. And I genuinely can't find that comment about the jersey, but I'm pretty sure someone said it was like a Bearcats jersey. Maybe I've like lost it. I don't know. Oh, there it is. It was wrong. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a Bearcats jersey. Oh, there was a hint there. Oh, I have to sit there like this now. Like, if someone can genuinely guess it, I'll give away a prize. But you've got to guess it. Like, player, team name. Because you'll hate it. As soon as you find out, you'll absolutely hate it. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Ron. It's late here. I was like scrolling through like a wall of text like it was the Matrix. Philly's a serious soccer town. Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that. And you can see even some of the players that they produced, obviously, you know, Christian Pulisic, like Brandon Aronson, Pax. Like, there's a lot of guys that have come out that are, I don't know. I think there's a next generation of like US national team soccer that is going to be hopefully much better than the last. My favorite soccer team is Charlton Athletic. So you've got the Premier League, then you've got the Championship, then you've got the league below that, and we are nestled in there, doing absolutely horribly. Yeah, love them. The bane of my life, that team. But, you know, it's the pain that kills you, and it's the hope that keeps you coming back, isn't it? Never ends. It's something, sports teams and relationships, you get, it's horrible. But, you know, wouldn't change it for the world. But, yeah, so if anyone does care what football team I support or soccer team, there you are. Just look out on a Saturday, Charlton Athletic, probably 3-0 down to another team you never heard of. All part of the fun. But yeah, right then. It's now 40 minutes in. I want to quickly take a quick drink and we'll pivot onto our second segment. There never are segments anymore on this show, is it? It's me banging a tin around. You guys slagging off my facial hair. The jerseys. No, it's not. It's not. It's a CFL jersey. Oh, it's a CFL jersey. But if anyone guesses a player, I'll be stunned. It's the most niche thing. Like, just think Paxton Lynch level. And then CFL. But it's not Dane Evans. It should be Dane Evans. That man has my whole... Oh, Tariq. Wow, he's got it. He's got it. We've got a number 2. We've got a Johnny Manziel Tiger Cats shirt. What a guess that is. That is phenomenal. That deserves a prize. Right, shoot me a DM on Twitter and I'll get something sorted for you. I can't promise how and when, but I promise I will. I'll take it up to the big boss man tomorrow. and we'll get it there. But what a guess that is. Did you like stalk my Twitter? Did you know I had one? That's the thing. But now we've got over the initial Tariq has got a crystal ball, we now have to deal with Liam's got a Johnny Manziel jersey. I've also got a Johnny Manziel hoodie. I love the guy. I mean, right, I love the player. He was like the first, first college player that I watched where I was like, wow, he's special. And kind of like watching him get that spotlight, but still do it his way. I hate that it went off the rails. I really hate that it went off the rails for him. But if anyone's not seen the documentary on Netflix, I definitely urge you to, because it is absolutely worth a watch. Really, really good. He seems to be in a much better place now, which is, I think, all any of us could ask for the poor guy. But there you go. Well, I mean, that's got to stay pinned for the... Dude, I love Money Manziel. Like, those Texas A&M highlights, like, the year they beat Bama, it was it was just magic. Like, I'd never seen anything like that. I'd never been a college football guy. And seeing someone just become college football was nuts. Don't you and Ryan Reynolds brought Charlton? I was like, do you know, if he'd have bought Charlton instead of Wrexham, I'd have been very happy. Doug. But at the same time, I don't know. Our club's been muddied. So this is what's crazy. Is like a lot of people complain about American football owners like Jerry Jones, or like, who are the other ones? Who are the really bad? Oh, the Josh Harris. Like, he's a dick, isn't he? Apparently, I didn't say it. Apparently, like, our team almost got liquidated because we got bought out by like a Saudi-backed fund that then used fake money, lied about everything, were using the club money to get apartments and cars and that sort of thing. It was really weird, and it almost liquidated us. And that was the point where the club would have had to be like decomposed essentially and start again from the very, very, very bottom grassroots local park level of football. And like, that was almost a reality. There was like 6 months where that was the most likely possibility, and we got bought out by another owner who then like made his own song and played guitar in this. That was a red flag. That's an immediate red flag. Imagine Jeff Lurie coming down and then just start playing a guitar solo before a game. You'd be like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I've got another new owner, and they seem to be all right. So look, all I'm happy about is we've got a team to support. But that's what's crazy. Like, I don't know, especially like you look at Liverpool or Man United, and everyone's, oh, the Glazers this, and you know, the Red Sox owners that, and it's like, yeah, but you've got a team and you play in big competitions and you've got money. Like, we're just happy to exist, happy to have a team. Like, the ground exists, and I can go to that ground and support my team. That's it. That's the bar at Charlton. It's that bad. So there you are. But yeah, Jim Irsay's that level. Jim Irsay, Josh Harris, like, they exist. But it's a lot easier in the English game, I think, to get stuck financially, because in the NFL, you've got like salary caps and stuff like that to kind of regulate it and keep everything somewhat fair. In England, it's easier to not have that, and it gets a bit muddied. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. How are you doing, Daniel? Another new member in the chat. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I need to get a song made, don't I, whenever we get a new commenter. We have got 11 of you watching. If you haven't left a comment yet and you do want me to give you a little round of applause, just say hello. We don't bite. We're all friendly here. And again, if you haven't left a like yet, if you could, it would be absolutely amazing. The rule is, if we get more likes and points the Eagles scored last week, we will do a giveaway. I don't know what that number is. I think it's 25. What are we on overall today? We're on 9. All right, let's see if we can pump it up. Let's see if we can get to you by the end of the stream. We've got 15 minutes, so no giveaway, but we might get close. It always breaks my heart because obviously the VOD goes up, like the demand one, and then I'll check it the next day and it's flown past the likes, and I'm like, oh, but they're doing it and they're not live, doesn't count, and I feel bad. But look, I'm going to take a quick 30-second break, have a drink. We'll come back. We'll talk Jalen Carter. We'll talk a little bit of New York Jets. We'll go watch the Phillies, have an amazing evening, and we'll do it all again on Friday night. So I'll be back with you in around 34 seconds. There we go. We're back. Always feels like, you know that SpongeBob episode where his like tongue's flying about. I feel like that after a drink. Like everything's wet again. So it's been dry. It's like a desert in my mouth at the minute. We scored 23 points. Okay, right. So we need 24. That's gettable. What 9 plus? What do we need? 23. My maths is terrible. So that'd be 9 plus 12 would be 21. And we can get close. Is all I'm saying. We can pump those numbers up. Also, how are you feeling about the off? Oh, okay, I think the off getting it. Yeah, I've totally misread that. The offense getting it together. Very good. Very good. It was a long time coming. I'm just happy that they have, because I feel like the longer it went on, the more that red flag became pressing. And it's sort of like a fly or a bee or something in your house. Like the first time you notice it, you're like, oh, great. And then like it's there for another hour and you're like, great. And then like, and you got to start going to sleep and you can hear it and it just drives you insane. Like realistically, if it got to a point the Eagles had lost the game because of the same reasons, or it got to a point where Jalen had thrown a couple picks, or like there were QB draws on 3rd and forever, that sort of thing. If that had happened, it would have been a very different discourse around that offense. But the fact they found it against a defense as potent as the Rams speaks volumes. You know, absolutely volumes. So what does Tariq win? Pretty sure the correct guess was, he was promised a prize. And I said if he shoots me a DM on Twitter, I'll find him like a little surprise Eagles gift off Fanatics and ship it out. So it'll be an Eagles mystery box. Unfortunately, it won't be the Johnny Manziel jersey, but not that anyone would want that anyway. I still worry about the red zone offense because the play calling gets weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is they do down there, but it's like they've got an entirely different sheet and then just start drawing up all this whack, like, bubble screen stuff. I have no idea. It's strange. But then again, I mean, there's still, it was 43% conversion last week. I haven't checked it this week, but I will do tomorrow for when I write the preview for the weekend. So I don't know. I feel like, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. We've only just got to a point where Jalen started playing good ball. The offense, they're letting him run again. Like, that's probably the biggest takeaway. Is they're letting him out the chains. They're letting him run around. They're not confining him to a pocket and sort of just marginalizing what he can do. He's now allowed to make plays. Don't get me wrong. The play where his knee almost snapped in half scared the ever-living cheeses out of me. But the man's a freak of nature. Like, he's got knees stronger than my biceps. I don't understand. Like, that should have flown out towards the sideline. I don't know how it didn't. But, again, the thing is that they're letting him run. They're letting him be himself. And as soon as you can, like, get him to expand that playbook, it brings back the stuff you were, being critical of last week with the lack of actual option plays and sort of focusing on just a handoff or a 5-step drop. Now you've got those medium ones again. They were actual option plays. Again, the Eagles love this stream. They tune in every week. Don't make any mistake about it. So it's been some tweaking, but they've got it going on all cylinders now. And frankly, that's sort of all that matters. Eagles rule world. Another user in the chat, welcome. Maybe I'll just start like banging the saucepan every time we get someone new. There we go. I mean, that's going to leave. That's my girlfriend gone. She's just logged off. With the Vikings being bad, any interest in Harrison Smith and a Jordan Hicks reunion? I'd say no, because the Eagles hate paying for things, let alone giving up assets for things they're not going to use. I think genuinely, and this isn't hot takery, I think Nicholas Morrow will be the Mike this season, slightly longer term. I genuinely think, like, Nakobe Dean was fine. He had 7 tackles in week 1 before that injury, but he didn't look great in coverage. He was a little bit slow, and now he's had an injury, so he's going to be probably slow for the first 2 weeks, and by the time he gets up to game speed, that will be like week 1 that time. He's then going to go through that process of learning, and that's going to take some time. So I would go with Morrow. Like, realistically, if you're trying to make a trade at the deadline for a player, I've said this before, they're not going to make an impact for about a month because you've got to get acclimated. You've got to learn. Like, Golden Tate was the best example of it. If you look at every wide receiver deadline trade and look at how many of them actually work out, it is stunning how many of them, like, don't. Randy Moss was probably one of the bigger ones, I think. There was a Cowboys one. I can't remember his name. It was absolutely horrific. Like, it takes time, like, to get acclimated with stuff. So trade deadline deals, as fun as it is for fans, and it's like that last chance saloon of everybody scrambling to find a player, I don't think it'd be overly beneficial. And Hicks would be joining a defense that plays very differently to the one that he initially broke out in Philadelphia. Hicks is a great player. Don't get me wrong. I did want him back, prior to the fact that when he went to Arizona, and it might have even been this past offseason, I would have loved to have taken him back. But I don't know. I feel like they're not going to put stock in it anyway. Morrow isn't brilliant. He struggles in, he's got cedar blocks for hands, so that's not great. But I don't know. I feel like you've got to probably just trust that. Like, Morrow is someone that has played in that defense in Chicago and thrived in it. And I feel like his worst is still going to be better than a lot of people trying to get up to speed with a relatively complex defense. Roy Williams, that'll be the name. Are they trading for a safety deadline? Yeah, safety could. I feel like defensive linemen and offensive linemen are probably the safest place. Running backs, where it's just like the assignments are simple. Move and run. Like that's it. Receivers can be tricky. Quarterbacks, obviously, absolutely not, unless it's an emergency backup. But yeah, I don't know. What's more likely for Penny? He plays, gets cut, we're saving him for the apocalypse. JGF95 in the chat. We'll bang the pop. There you go. I don't know. He's officially off the injury report now. So he practiced fully today. So that's at least a positive. I don't know. I'm really disappointed. I genuinely thought he would be the one doing what DeAndre Swift did. Because all the evidence in the world had been there to suggest that he could do that and was capable. Like, you look at what he did when he was healthy in Seattle, he was among the most efficient running backs in the NFL. Both seasons where he broke out. So I'm stunned that he's come into Philadelphia with only Kenny Gainwell in front of him. DeAndre Swift sandwich him in this very weird running back conglomerate, and then be unable to find any running room is frankly bizarre. So either maybe he's being hampered by something, maybe he has just lost a step. I don't know. Maybe they are saving him for the apocalypse, and they'll be like, I don't know, the Fallout Football League when we're all buried 18 foot underground in vaults. I'm not sure. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was cut or maybe traded towards the deadline, because he's not been used 5 weeks in, and it's certainly beyond the pattern at that point. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. But yeah, I'm just as confuddled as the rest of us are. Oh, stuck about his Quez jokes. Has he been up to no good? Has he been telling porkies again? Right. Duck, I'm going to need you to come clean now. It's nice to see you, Brian, by the way. Thanks for hanging out, man. All the love in the world to B-Cam. What am I call him B-Cam all the time. So you can adopt that nickname for him now, because I feel like I'm the only one that does it. I think he secretly hates it. Because I'm like, well done, B-Cam. No response. Hates it. I'm winding up. Harry will look into his scout team bag and find... Yeah, I mean, that's it. Howie's scout team has been ridiculous the past, 5-6 years. Boston Scott, Cravon LeBlanc, probably the two biggest ones that are coming out as. What's good, NFL Reality Check? Nice to see you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Why is there a Giants fan in the chat? Yeah, man. What have we got? What do you think about the chances of Nakobe Dean coming back? Oh, I've kind of already answered that, haven't I? The last one. Yeah, I wouldn't put him in straight away. Give him a few weeks, again, to kind of go over it. I think Morrow's playing serviceably well. There's 1 week he's prime Ray Lewis, and there's 1 week where he's prime Lewis Ray. So it's trying to find the middle ground between those two, but it's serviceable. He's not bad. He's not great. He leaves a lot of meat on the bone, but would Nakobe Dean really be the guy to take that off? I don't know. I really don't know. I got a shout then to, what do I think of the upcoming schedule? So let's go through that, because there's an upcoming gauntlet, I've been told. So let's have a look. Let's see what we've got on deck. So we've got the Jets this weekend. Then hang on, bear with me. Right, Jets, fine. Dolphins, I think that'll be the first loss. I pointed out before. I think that is going to be the game where the Eagles just are outmatched a little bit, especially if the secondary is beaten up. If Slay's out for more than 1 week, good luck with James Bradbury and who's armied stopping Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It's just not happening. Unless they pressure Tua, who isn't... I don't want to say he's deceiving, but he hasn't been brilliant. Tua is a quarterback made to look 10 times better by his receivers. I will say that. Jalen gets made to look better by his receivers, but he's a good quarterback. I'd say he's a great quarterback. Tua's a good quarterback, sort of like Kirk Cousins, that gets made to look like he's great. Look, maybe the Eagles win that game. maybe they do. Look, 6 weeks ago, I'd have said that's the first loss of the season. Now I don't know. No, there's no upcoming schedule graphic. I should probably have one pre-made, shouldn't I? The only other graphic I've got is a Jalen Carter one as to how good he's been through his... I haven't even got to that. Forgot the Jalen Carter segment. You guys are distracting me with all your talk about Johnny Manziel. Yeah, we haven't got to talk about Jalen Carter, but that's the only other graphic I've got for you tonight. I'm afraid, K1. I'm slacking. I've let you down. But more than anything else, K1, I've let myself down. All right? And we have to remember that. So, yeah, there's Jalen Carter being very good at what he does. Basically better than any other rookie defensive tackle at the minute. Better than most defensive tackles in most metrics. Playing like a veteran defensive tackle despite being about 15 years old is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Who's going to get... Come on. Let's all behave ourselves, all right? Grace and decorum, gents, all right? I'm British. I have to instill that into your veins. Come on. We're better than that. Sort of. Cheerio. What's up, Parrot Knight? Is that a new little profile picture he's got there as well? Look at that. What a dapper young man. How are you, Eric? Nice to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. Just be back next time. All right, so after the Dolphins, we've got the Commanders. That's fine. The Cowboys at home. That's fine. Then it gets in. It's the one after that. So realistically, it'll be a win against the Jets, a loss against the Dolphins. If we're being conservative, I'm not saying they're going 18-0 this year, all right? Win against the Commanders, win against the Cowboys. That's what, 7-1. Face the Chiefs on the road. I reckon they'll win that. The Super Bowl revenge game, they'll win that. 8-1. Then they host the Bills. I'm not sure. It depends what Josh Allen you get. Are you getting 3 touchdowns, Josh Allen? Or are you getting 3 interceptions, Josh Allen? Flip a coin. I would say they win based off the run from the Chiefs game. Then the Niners. God, that's roughing it. Those 3 games. But by that point, I don't think it matters. They've got a 2-game lead already, right, in the NFC East. Forget everything else for the time being. If you look at the Cowboys, this is what K1 wants. This is the schedule, right? So the Cowboys have the Rams, who should beat them. So they've got the Chargers this weekend. They should beat the Chargers. The Rams should beat them. Then they've got the Eagles. The Eagles will beat them. Then they've got the Giants, fine, win. The Panthers, they'll win that. The Commanders, they might lose. Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins. That's just as bad. And they've got to gain 2 games out of the Rams, Giants, Eagles obviously twice, Panthers. I don't see it. I don't think they win enough to win the NFC East. So I think the Eagles are already in the playoffs. I think that's a given. It's just how they get there. I'd love to see them. I don't care if I had to choose. If they lost every other game that wasn't Chiefs, Bills, and Niners, and they won those 3, I'd be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Like, beat the elite of the elite and then just take a month off. Don't give a shit. Like, I'd be perfectly okay with that. There are a couple of trap games in there. I think, like, Seattle's definitely one. Like, you go into Seattle, notoriously hard place to play. That could definitely be a problematic game because they've been good, the Seahawks. They have been good. Made mincemeat of the Giants, as every team should. So don't overlook them for sure. But, yeah, realistically, this is like a 12-13 win team. It's not even close. Ron said he's predicted a 14-3. I think I was like 13, but this was when the Jets had Aaron Rodgers. So I was like lost. I'd been losing to the Jets, the Dolphins, the Niners, and then the Bills. I think it was the Bills or the Chiefs, one of those 2. I think it was the Bills. They were the only 4 games I had them losing. The others, so what's that, 12? 13, isn't it? Yeah, because I added 1, 13. So that was my prediction, and we're well on track for a 13-win season. I feel like the Niners is a must-win. Yeah, I mean, I feel like from a momentum perspective, knowing that obviously you go into the playoffs, you've got to face the Seattle side that is red hot. It's currently the leading Super Bowl favorite by some margin. And yeah, you lose that game at home, and then you've got to probably go on the road to face them in the championship game. Maybe you face them first, whatever. But you'll see them in the playoffs. I think we can all agree that it's probably going to be an Eagles-Niners championship game, where it certainly feels like that right now. So if you lose that one in the regular season, it definitely doesn't set the tone that you'd like it to. But on that note, guys, we have hit the 1 hour mark. So, yeah, gonna have to love you and leave you. I'm afraid I've got a lot to sort out in the flat. I would normally stay for an extra 10 minutes because I'm loving tonight's stream, but I've got a flat viewing tomorrow. The landlord that owns my building has decided to sell it, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, so I'm gonna get that ready before tomorrow morning. I got 3 and 4 the next. Whoa. All right, we can't end it there. What do you mean 3 and 4, Greg? 3 and 4. Right, let's try and work it right. So I'm guessing you're dropping Dolphins, Bills, Chiefs, Niners? I'm guessing that would be it. Which, fair enough. I mean, I understand it. Or maybe it's the Seahawks. I mean, it's plausible. It is plausible. It's not like out of the question that the Eagles would drop some of those games. But certainly, yeah, I don't know. I think there'll be 1 or 2. If the Niners, the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, I think they'll win at least 2. I think they're good enough to win 2, is what I'll say. But yeah, one last comment there from Isaac. It's crazy Jenkins 21-1 in his last 23. No matter the game, it feels like we'll always be in it during that tough stretch. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's going to be the key, is you've got a quarterback that can win you games. And when he's even not firing on all cylinders, which is somehow even better. KC, Bills, Cowboys. Wow, okay, fairs. So they beat the Dolphins. The Seahawks is the one that worries me. And the Cowboys in Jerry World. But by that point, the Cowboys could be a non-factor and it could be an absolute train wreck. So you never know. That's what I'm holding out hope for anyway. And that's how I'll end the stream, with hope of the Dallas downfall. What a pleasant... You can't ask for a pleasant thought, can you? The Eagles are 5-0 and you're hoping for the downfall of the Dallas Cowboys. What more could you want? Gents, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, I'll see you on Friday for what should be a special edition with a guest in Bobby Taylor, former Eagles cornerback, who should be joining us in some degree. How that's going to be shaped up, I don't know. I'll let you know as soon as I know. But take care. Enjoy your evening. Go Phillies. Enjoy the rest of the baseball. And I'll see you Friday. Take care. Eric, I'll quickly read yours out. Only seeing a concern about the Dolphins. Yeah, I think Hill and obviously Waddle, especially if Slay's out more than 1 week, that will be terrifying. But I think that the defensive line's good enough to negate that and to put Tua on his back. So we'll get into that. I'm excited for Dolphins week. I'm very excited for all that analysis and fun. But in the meantime, enjoy your evenings, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Go Birds.